The historic United Auto Workers strike is in full swing, with literally thousands of auto workers walking off their jobs in the name of higher wages and protection from the growing electric vehicle market. The Biden administration's deep in negotiations with the unions, who says that they won't, right now they're saying they're not going to support the president unless their demands are actually met. But can the Biden administration get to the union, back? Can they get them back to work? I don't know. The agenda's butting heads with what right now is the big push for, EVs.
Electric vehicles.
Electric vehicles seems to be
and the auto industry is not happy about it.
Right.
So to discuss this, we're going to bring in Professor of Business at Wayne State University, Marick, and also joining us is President and CEO of Celebrity Motorcars, Tom Maoli. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for joining us. Professor Masters, I'll come to you first. What does the strike mean for the economy at large? Do you see the Biden administration and the United Auto Workers coming to a deal anytime soon?
Well, the strike means a very limited impact presently because there are only 13,000 workers on strike and about 15,000 affected overall immediately. And they produce about 416,000 cars at the three plants struck, which is a relatively small share of the overall market. But I think it's important to realize that there is a deal that can be done. This is not rocket science. You do the numbers, you run the numbers, there's a deal that can be struck if both sides are reasonable. And that means the union has to give it some things. It's not going to get retiree health care. It's not going to get defined benefit pension plans. It's not going to get the jobs bank back. But it can get a sizable wage increase and it get some other things that it wants, dealing with tiers and progression time that are very important to its membership. And if they're able to get that, I think they should go with the deal that they got and move on.
Fair enough. Tom, let me ask you a question. And I know that it's more about mandates, right? There's a lot of pressure to get more electric vehicles out there. I just don't know if the demand is fully there to match that mandate. How will this push and these mandates affect your business and in your opinion, the business across the country beyond even yours?
Well, listen, it's already affecting already. The government, the Biden administration has went out and they created this mandate. They actually did it illegally. What they did is they went to the EPA rather than going to Congress and Senate, and they pushed this mandate by 2035. 80% of the vehicles need to be electric in the United States of America. It's not sustainable. There's no infrastructure. There's no place to charge your car. And more importantly, it's more expensive for the consumer, and the consumer doesn't want it. They're not buying the vehicles. They're coming into the showrooms. They're not buying the vehicles. They still want gas vehicles. They're more trustworthy. And what they're doing, what the administration is doing is they're costing the car makers, the manufacturers, billions of dollars to ramp up for this mandate that is unsustainable. And if you peel back the onion, with this whole United Auto Workers strike, this is all over EV. This is because the workers are in a panic that they're going to lose their jobs because of technology and manufacturing. But what they need to understand is that you can't have a 40% pay increase in a 8 to 10% inflation environment, and also you can't have a 32-hour work week. That's a production issue. And if you start pushing that, what's going to happen is you're going to push the auto workers to move a lot of their production outside of the U.S. into Mexico, into China, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
That's a good point.
On that exact point, Professor, what is stopping car companies from taking their plants overseas?
Well, I think there's pressure domestically for them to produce in the United States. And it's also a matter of time. The gentleman is absolutely correct that if they were to negotiate a package that was outlandish with 40%, 32-hour week, plus a whole bunch of other things that they gave into the union, then the companies would, rightfully so, look for the options to produce elsewhere. But I think he raises a fundamental point, which is really underappreciated in this, is that the companies are caught in the rock and a hard place. They are producing cars now more for government mandates than they are for customer preferences. Okay. And the auto workers are coming to the table realizing that these cars are not profitable. Ford lost $60,000 for each EV it sold in the first quarter of this year. And that's a huge number. And when you think about it, the companies are spending $120 billion over the next 2 years on EVs. That's money they don't have to get a contract.
Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. There's so many more questions I had for you, Tom. I apologize that we ran out. Professor Marick Masters, Tom Maoli, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to have you back. Thank you.